The KV-2, more specifically the 1939 build, is an infamous heavy tank produced in the United Socialist Soviet Republic, which is also known as the USSR or the Soviet Union. The heavy tank comes in at a whopping 52.4 tons, which is more than an adult whale. Most of the weight is due to the massive 152mm M10 howitzer cannon placed in the turret. It can take two loaders anywhere from 33 seconds to 43 seconds to reload the cannon. In total, 36 rounds of ammo could be held inside the tank at one time, or 37 if you already have one in the cannon ready to go. There are three different types of ammo available. The G530, known as the anti-concrete round, which has a low velocity but has over 5 kilograms of TNT, which penetrates almost all vehicles up to the battle rating of 5.0. The OF530 is also known as the high explosive shell that can deal a lot of damage or even destroy many tanks if aimed properly. With the overpressure mechanic added to the game a while back, it is even easier than ever to destroy tanks at the same battle rating as you. It's even possible to destroy tanks at top tier using the high explosive shell. Finally, the PB-35 is an armor-piercing capped, ballistic capped shell that penetrates the same as the AC shell and a little bit better. It's also less prone to ricochets. The shell also has less explosive filler, making it less potent than the AC shell. The KV-2 actually uses a two-piece ammunition composed of the projectiles and propellant bags, which are actually stored separately. The maximum possible penetration at 10 meters is 95 millimeters. The tank contains a crew of 6. A driver and radio operator are both seated in the hull of the tank, while the rest of the crew, commander, gunner, and 2 loaders, are in the massive turret. A W2 engine, which provided 600 horsepower, had enough power to go 35 kilometers per hour forwards and 7 kilometers per hour backwards. The engine has 5 forward gears and only 1 reverse gear. The power to weight ratio may change during the battle, but it is most likely 11.5 horsepower per ton. Now this is times 2 speed, so do not expect the KV-2 to move this quickly. This is an example of how fast the turret traverses. It's not very quick. It takes 1 minute and 21 seconds, and I had to fast forward this clip by 8.08 times in order to be that quick. In vertical guidance, the gun can go -5 degrees all the way up to 12 degrees. And in gunner's view, you can actually zoom in. And now, a moment to talk about an app that I find really useful. This is non-sponsored, by the way. Buff is a free app to download to start getting prizes from your valuable gaming time. You can earn buff points by just playing a game and buying prizes with those points. It's completely free and it will not reduce FPS or make your game glitch. Use the link in the description to get 30 extra buff points. I actually use this myself and I'm currently at 108 buff points. Many games are supported by buff, except War Thunder, of course, but that's besides the point. You should get it, and also this is not sponsored. Thank you for listening, and now, back to the documentary about the KV-2. Now for a bit of history as to why this tank was built. It all started when officers observed that the KV-1's armament was not enough to destroy some of the Finnish fortifications. Because of this, they requested for a 152mm howitzer to be put on the KV-1, and that was the birth of the KV-2. However, when it was made, there were certain negative observations engineers and tankers found on the tank. The KV-2 suffered from low speed, a very high profile as it was 11 feet tall, and the turret was too heavy for turning accurately on a slope because of the gravity. Because of these flaws, the KV-2 was put on limited production. There were only 334 units produced from 1939 to 1941. The KV-2 1939 was used in the Winter War against Finland in 1940, and even a few times in World War II against the Germans. The KV-2 1939 actually first saw service in the Winter War as a prototype. However, they were too late to test their might against the more fortified Finnish defenses, as they had already been overrun. Despite this, they still destroyed remaining enemy bunkers and anti-tank guns. The KV-2s, or what was left of them after many were lost to attrition or even mechanical errors, were used in even the middle of the World War II, even though there weren't that many of them. Some of the most famous battles, including the KV-2s, are the opening stages of the Operation Barbarossa. The KV-2 tanks came as a huge surprise for the Germans, as they had no prior intel about these tanks. When the KV-2 served alongside the KV-1 installing the German offensive to Moscow. During the Battle of Rasinii in Lithuania, a single KV-2 was able to hold up the entire 6th Panzer Division for a full day. And finally, 10 KV-2s were at the Voronezh front for the Battle of Kursk. In the end though, there was only one KV-2 left, and to this day, it is held at the Central Armed Forces Museum. But the very last KV-2, in fact, is not even a KV-2 1939. It is just a KV-2 1940. An interesting fact is that the KV-2, in all its glory of course, was dreaded by the tankers. The tankers hated to get inside the tank because they knew how much ammo and explosive filler there actually was, and the incredible chance that they would perish inside the tank. One interesting quote I would like to share with you is from Marshal Rokossovsky, who later recalled in his memoirs, A Soldier's Duty. They withstood the fire of every type of gun that the German tanks were armed with, but with what a sight they were returning from combat. Their armor all pock-marked all over, and sometimes even their barrels were pierced. Let me know in the comments below if I indeed did forget something about the glorious KV-2 or even mispronounce anything. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already to watch some more incredible content in the future. And if you haven't used that buff link down below in the description, go do so right now. It is free stuff you could get for absolutely free. And one last thing, let me know what was your most interesting fact that you found out today. Hope you guys have a great one. I'll see you guys in the next episode.